In mid-April, we flew into Nîmes, picked up a car and followed the old Roman road to Pouzilhac. Pouzilhac itself is a very old 12th century village with many original features retained. But we were delighted to find that the hotel in which we were going to stay, just on the outskirts, had all modern cots. Here in Pouzilhac village you can see the 12th century bell tower and the 18th century church. Situated between Remoulin and Pouzilhac, this charming 12th century village offers its inviting shady square with a refreshing trickling fountain. This imposing fortified castle is mentioned as far back as 1295. Alongside the castle is the church of St. Julian, and at right angles to the church I noticed a school, still functional, with garçons on the left and femmes on the right. Inside the church, Mass was said by a remarkable young priest from the Cameroon. Many of the original archways are well preserved. More acres of vines, which leads me to wonder, after all the acres of vines that we've seen, about the expense of the bottles of wine. Off we went through the acres of vineyards until we came to the Pont du Gard. This aqueduct is the tallest one in the Roman Empire, and the Romans built it in a mere 5 years. There were quite a lot of children there by the river on the day we visited, and the river, of course, is the River Rhone. This is the legendary bridge in Avignon, the Half Bridge, built in the 12th century, and it was often damaged by the raging floodwaters of the Rhone River and during wars. It was repaired and rebuilt again and again, and then it was definitely abandoned for rebuilding in the 17th century.
In 1309, Pope Clement V, a Frenchman, was persuaded by his king Philip IV to reside at Avignon under the king's protection. The next 7 popes were all Frenchmen, and in 1378 Pope Gregory XI decided to return to Rome. Since that date, all popes have resided at St. Peter's.
I'm always fascinated when we're in Europe by the ability of the students to do mime. I counted to 50 and this guy never moved a muscle. This shows how to go round the papal palace eco-friendly and at leisure. More vines, folks. I'm getting quite enthusiastic about this wine situation. Right on cue, we come to Olivier Hilaire, who is one of the wine cellars in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, and we paid a visit, did a little bit of testing, and acquired a couple of bottles to take home with us. The village itself is quite pretty, and to our delight, everything stayed open all afternoon, whereas in some of the rural areas everything closed at 2 o'clock. As we were driving along, I kept saying to Patrick, "My goodness, this is so like Ribble Valley and a tiny bit of Yorkshire." It was beautiful. One day we found Les Cascades de Sautade, just outside Pouzilhac. It was very pretty and most unusual, and the road home got narrower and narrower, but with Cote, and the scenery was absolutely beautiful. keep your eye on the vines. There's an outcome to the theme of this story.
Pont Saint-Esprit is famous as the town of origin of Michael Bouvier, a cabinet maker who was the ancestor of John Vernon Bouvier III, father of Jackie Kennedy. On the Feast of the Assumption, the 15th of August, 1951, 250 people of this town were involved in a poisoning incident. 50 people were sent to asylums and 4 people died. This is Beaucaire. Unusually, the town has a port on the Cote du Rhone canal.
The previous pictures show you the rather enchanting town of Uzès. Uzès, roughly translated, means the enchantress, and it was the first dukedom of France, specialising for many years in the production of silk stockings, and became famous in 1472 for printing one of the kingdom's very first books. This cathedral is St. Theodore's Cathedral, and it has an exceptional organ. It's just one of 48 listed buildings and is one not to be missed. This passageway leads you to the medieval gardens in Uzès. There are 400 plants used for cooking, medicine or decoration, and they're grown at the foot of the 2 towers that you see in the previous pictures.
Tavel's wines are rosé with a minimum alcoholic content of 11%, and were the favourite of King Louis XIV, the popes of Avignon, the 19th century novelist Honoré de Balzac, and even Ernest Hemingway.
The waterways running through Tavel are so pretty and interesting, and obviously historically connected with the winemaking in that area. Three things happened whilst we were in this area that made our holiday so much happier. We were joined by a group of 40 Belgian students and their teachers with whom we chatted each night. That was great fun. On their last night, we were presented so unexpectedly with a bottle of beer for Patrick and a box of chocolates for me from the school and the teachers. There was also a local gentleman there, and he was from the domain Servassoni. And 2 days later there was for me a bottle of wine from his vineyard and 2 vine plants. Also, I would like to say thank you to Stefan, who gave us a bottle of Lirac Chateau de Bouchassé 2006. And I would also like to say that our vine plants are happily seated in our garden next to our Greek vines and are flourishing wonderfully. Our thanks to you all for making us have a wonderful holiday.